Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of Weird Disney Cars Diecast Errors and Inconsistencies, where I talk about weird Disney Cars Diecast errors and inconsistencies. Now, last month's episode I did as a collab, but this time I'm riding solo, so let's get started. Speaking of being solo, so was Ramone in the Star Wars and Cars crossover toy line, of course, as he played the role of Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Now that's what I call a smooth transition. Anyway, the Ramone as Han Solo and Carbonite diecast here has been one that I've always found really interesting, as I always assumed that Ramone was just permanently stuck to the Carbonite base, just like how Han Solo is part of that block of Carbonite in the actual Star Wars movies. But, unlike the actual Star Wars movies, Ramone here can be easily removed from the Carbonite block and can be rolled separately alongside the Carbonite block. Once again, compare that to the real Han Solo, who, yes, eventually is thawed out of his Carbonite block, but when he's in it, he can't just be easily removed like Ramone can here, still frozen. I just thought that making Ramone his own removable piece was really interesting. According to this Take 5 a Day article, he's held in with just one screw, so, like I said, yeah, you could easily take him out and use him as his own car. Definitely an interesting choice. The original line of Cars Toon cars used images of the characters from the Cars Toon. They used screenshots instead of coming up with their own artwork for each character. But they messed up with these time and time again, and honestly, I could make an entire episode just discussing these. But for this episode, I'll keep it limited to two inconsistencies with the Cars Toon cars. Up first, Nurse Corey here, if you couldn't already tell, is using an image of either Nurse Mia or Nurse Tia instead of an image of herself. I don't know why they did this. There is a perfectly good shot of Nurse Corey in the short. Also, the Nurse Mia or Tia, I can't tell which one it is, has a mask up which Nurse Corey does not come with, so I don't even get how they would mess that up. Another example of a car from the Cars Toon line not lining up with the image shown is this guy right here, Rodney the Rocker, who is just such a strange case within the Cars diecast line. If you take one look at the screenshot used on the packaging, yeah, these two are clearly not the same character. They are completely different shapes. So, what happened? Did Mattel mess up this badly where they created a brand new mold for a character that doesn't line up with the one who's based off of at all? Is this character shown on the artwork, Rodney? Is the character included Rodney? Like, who's the real Rodney the Rocker? Are they even supposed to be the same character? Or is the diecast Rodney somewhere else within the short? And Mattel is just using a picture of another car because they couldn't find him in the short? I don't know, it's a whole mess. All I know is that the picture and diecast do not line up. And if the Rodney diecast was based off of another background character in the short, which I think there could be a chance of that being true because there are just so many background characters in Heavy Metal Mater, then we still haven't found the car that Rodney was based off of, so I think that's pretty unlikely now because that Cars Toon has been out for over a decade. I really don't know what's going on here, so you know what? Let's just move on. Oh great, another car from a Cars Toon that didn't actually appear in the Cars Toon. This is Off-Road Mater, released for the Radiator Springs 500.5 diecast line. Now, despite the existence of this diecast, this Mater is nowhere to be found in the short. Mater is in the short, but he doesn't take part in the off-road race that Lightning and the other characters go on. Instead, Mater has his own design, a very unique Stanley Days design, which would have been so cool to get as a diecast, but unfortunately we didn't, and instead we got this off-road variant, for whatever reason. Now, I always thought that this was done by Mattel because a off-road Mater would probably sell a lot better to kids than a Stanley Days Mater, even though the Stanley Days Mater is the accurate one, but I'm not sure. Another potential idea is that maybe at one point in the short's development, the off-road race was supposed to include Mater, which I highly doubt. I really think it's probably just that first one. And like I said, I think it's definitely a shame because the Stanley Days Mater really would have been cool. Speaking of off-road maters, let's talk about the XRS Mud Racing Deluxes. Man, I am doing so well today with the transitions. But you know, I feel like every single episode of this series now features me talking about the XRS Mud Racers for one reason or another. I don't know why they keep on popping up. But anyway, Mater here, alongside Miss Fritter and RV, were released as XRS Mud Racing Deluxes, which is interesting because this is the only time that there have been XRS Deluxes. There were never any deluxes for the Rocket Racers or for the Drag Racers. This means that Mater, Miss Fritter, and Arvy are also the only 3 characters within the entire XRS toy line to not be Piston Cup racers. Now, I think it makes perfect sense to include these deluxes. The race took place at Thunder Hollow, and like I said in the last entry, young kids love monster trucks and cars with big wheels, off-road cars. So again, these releases made perfect sense, but it's weird looking back after having several other waves of XRS Mud Racer singles and 2 whole other lines of XRS cars. It's just weird to see a few cars that aren't Piston Cup racers sprinkled in. This next error is a pretty recent one, and also one that Mattel actually caught before release. On the back of the package for the NASCAR Racers, the wave with Karsten Ace Dillon, at least for the first release of this wave, you'll see that his name is actually written on a sticker. That's because Mattel actually made a typo, and if you remove that sticker, you'll see that his name is misspelled underneath as Karsten Ace Dillon. I'm really surprised that Mattel caught this mistake and not the hundreds of other ones that they've made, but I guess it makes sense that they'd catch this one, as he, of course, is named after a real person, Austin Dillon, not Austin Dillion. And it's nice to see that Mattel actually caught this mistake and hastily covered it up with a sticker. I'd assume that in later releases in the NASCAR series, later re-releases, they'll have this mistake fixed. But for now, we can laugh at the fact that there is a very out-of-place sticker covering up a minor typo on the back of these cars. There are some pretty interesting inconsistencies with the Lemons with Torches, and I'll probably do a longer segment on the specific inconsistencies with them in a later episode, but for now I'd like to talk about something relating to PD Pacer here. One of the first Pacers released with a torch, PD, unlike later releases of Lemons with Torches, again I'll cover that at another point, did not have a movable visor. The visor was stuck over his eyes, you couldn't lift it up off of them. Despite this, his artwork shows him with the visor flipped up. Up next, let's talk about the color changer Jackson Storm, who features his Piston Cup Champion logo on the side, while the normal Jackson Storm diecast does not. Jackson Storm has a Piston Cup Champion logo on his side after winning the race that McQueen crashed at. You see it all throughout the Florida 500 race on the side of Jackson. He loses his rookie stripes and gets some Piston Cup Champion logos on him, but Mattel is yet to make this as a normal diecast. Despite this, they put it on his color changer for some strange reason. Maybe it's to say that, hey, we won't be making this as a normal diecast, but at least you have it on the color changer. Now, it's nice to have the Piston Cup Champion logos on Jackson, even though it's only on the color changer, but hopefully someday we see a regular diecast of Piston Cup Champion Jackson Storm, since it's a release that I've seen a whole lot of people request that Mattel make throughout the years. Alright, buckle up. This next one is a ride. In 2007, for the first time, Mattel released one of Ramon's red paint jobs from the first Cars movie. This was the sort of ribbony looking one. And instead of calling it Red Ramone, or giving it some other name, they decided to call it Hydraulic Ramone. A strange name because Ramon's hydraulics weren't raised up. The hydraulics, of course, are what allow Ramone to sort of raise up and down like he does. This was released a few more times throughout the next few years. It got a few lenticular variants, even got a Chase Metallic release. But then in 2011, a new Ramone came out. A raised up purple Ramone that also used the name Hydraulic Ramone. In this case, it made complete sense as this was a Ramone with his hydraulics up. Since then, Mattel has released several other Hydraulic Ramone variants. Hydraulic Yellow Ramone, Hydraulic Florida Ramone, and so on and so forth. All appropriately using the Hydraulic Ramone name. Again, like I said, these Ramones being called Hydraulic Ramones definitely makes a lot more sense than the Red Ramone. Speaking of this Red Ramone, he's still labeled as Hydraulic Ramone. Now, we haven't seen him be released for a good few years now, but the next time he comes out, he'll probably be labeled as Hydraulic Ramone once again, causing just quite a bit of confusion. Why is this Ramone called Hydraulic Ramone when he isn't raised up? Nobody knows. It's a really strange name and just a very odd case. But I really hope that one day the Red Ramone can get a raised up variant. That way we can have a car out there called Hydraulic Ramone. And for our last entry of the day, let's re-enter the strange, strange world of Cars Geotrax. Geotrax was a sort of like track building system. You can make roads and train tracks. They had several Cars themed sets released to coincide with Cars 2, and like so many Cars toy lines do, they also released products from the first movie, as well as I think they might have done some Cars Toon stuff. This line, though, is absolutely riddled with errors and inconsistencies. I talked about one a few episodes back. Now it's time to return and once again discuss them. This time around, let's talk about the Geotrax brand new Mater, who, despite being called brand new Mater, isn't brand new Mater. Why do I say this? Because, well, he doesn't have his hood. Instead of making a new mold for the Geotrax brand new Mater, these guys cheaped out and just repainted their regular rusty Mater, complete with no hood. Now, yes, we do see Mater like this at some points in the Cars series, like in Heavy Metal Mater, but this guy is labeled as brand new Mater, and he isn't brand new Mater because, of course, brand new Mater has his hood. But wait! There's more! Hey guys, tie-in editing here, and while editing this video, I found out that this Mater is even weirder than we thought. Before I found a good picture of the brand new Mater in box, originally I was going to use this picture. But that's when I realized that this picture of Mater, which is the prototype picture of him, features the writing design seen on the side of Tokyo Mater, on the side of both his controller and the Mater itself, and in this other prototype picture you could see Tokyo Mater on the front of the controller. So, yeah, this is even weirder. So originally, this inaccurate brand new Mater was also Tokyo Mater? I don't even know anymore. Anyway though guys, there we have it. Yet another round of 10 weird errors and inconsistencies. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.